any additions or deletions to the agenda tonight? Having heard none, could we please have a motion to accept the agenda as circulated?
So moved.
Moved by the Deputy Warden, or do we have a seconder, please?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor McNeil. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion's carried and the agenda has been approved. Just one other quick acknowledgement, since we were talking hockey earlier. We certainly want to acknowledge Victoria County resident and the deck resident Jessie Wong is going to be playing for the women's Chinese Olympic hockey team at the Olympics, and that's great recognition for Jessie. She's been a long time excellent hockey player in our county, and we wish her the best. So we just want to do that right off the bat. And as referenced from the deck to Beijing, that's quite a journey, and we wish her the best. So with that, first item up for council tonight, the first agenda, we have representatives here from the Cape Breton Housing Authority, and I believe Sean Luker is going to lead our presentation with them this evening. So Sean, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I know you have a presentation, and if you wish to share your screen, and would you please also, because I've got multiple faces on my screen, if you would also acknowledge who's with you this evening. And we go through your presentation. We've allocated about 20 minutes, and then we'll open it to questions from council, if that is okay with you.
Thanks so much, Bruce. Yeah, so my name is Sean Luker. I'm the director with Cape Breton Island Housing Authority, and I have my client service manager, Rami Kayad, with us as well today. So I just want to go quickly through the slides. I don't like to spend a heck of a lot of time on them because there's more value in the questions and answers part. But I just like to tell you guys, basically, like overall who we are and what we do. So, I mean, we're a public nonprofit housing organization. We serve seniors and families for public housing throughout the entire island. We also serve your area as well. Can everyone see my screen, first of all? Okay, good. So we provide good, affordable housing to those in need that meet our criteria. We house the applicants through our chronological wait list, and we determine rent by gross household income, and ability to pay determines the rental charge. So it's not based upon the actual cost of the asset, it's based upon their ability to pay on a percentage of their income. The housing authority, we're the landlord of the asset that those clients stay in, and we do acknowledge that we cannot house every applicant. So to start using our programs, it does start with our standard form of application, and then we go into an assessment process after that. That's to assess the criteria. So there's three main criteria that we really look for. One is the household income limits, which is defined by CMHC. So that's updated annually annually to every 2 years. We get an update from CMHC for the HILS tables. It's similar to the same tables that income assistance would follow for criteria for their programs as well. On top of the income guidelines would be your family makeup. So that would determine what kind of property you would be applying for. If you're a single senior, you would only need a 1-bedroom. For a family, depending if you had how many children and whatnot, that would determine how many bedroom house you would be applying for. After the assessment is done, we send it to the board for our approval. And then once approved, when criteria is met, application is added to the wait list, and then selection is based upon their chronological date of application. There's only one exception, which is priority access, which I'll go into details on that after. And then after they get selected, it's an offer for their house, and then they sign a standard form of lease with us. And it goes every year we do a renewal process with them to make sure they still want to stay in public housing and meet the criteria as well. So the exception is priority access. So it's only granted to eligible applicants in the circumstances where public housing offers a long-term solution to help mitigate those circumstances. So priority access requires specific written support of an independent agency or professional with expertise in the field. So priority access form, in addition to a housing application form, would go up to the board for approval for those cases. All other options must be exhausted prior to going to priority access. So short-term emergency housing is not something that we cover in our programs. So I know a lot of people do call us up and they're like, we need a house like tonight, or we need to, that's really down to the shelter system that must be relied upon for those situations. And then they usually get into our programs through the shelter systems. So there's three areas that priority access covers. So the first area is victims of family violence. So requires completion of a PA assessment form by applicant, social worker, or director of transition house, or the police, or whoever they're dealing with. And then they would do a standard form of application. Then the second kind of priority access is occupants of inadequate housing. So those are available to people that would be in housing pose an immediate health or safety risk to them. So we would have a priority access assessment form required. And a lot of times we'll get it from the municipal building inspector, or the fire marshal will go in and do an inspection, or we'll contact Housing Nova Scotia and they'll send out an inspector to go do an inspection as well to qualify that criteria. And then the third one is for health. So an applicant may apply when housing can help to facilitate the need for life-sustaining health services. Access to public housing removes the barrier to accessing those services, so PA assessment form is required. The most common health example that I could give is someone needs probably heavy transfusions from the hospital, and they might need them multiple times every week for the next upcoming 2 years, or they're going through heavy chemotherapy for cancer treatments for the upcoming year, and they might need to have a requirement to sustain their life to be close to a hospital. So they would fill out a priority access form for that requirement there. So for family violence, households may apply directly through the auspices of the transition house or shelter, or through some other community-based agency. They can even come from you guys. I've had calls before in the past where advocacy came from council. PA not available to those separating from spouse unless abuse has been a factor for that. Application for PA requires completion of assessment form by applicant social worker or by the director of transition house. Staff should assess 3 factors. So the length of time the applicant can remain where they are located. Will applicant be housed without a PA in this length of time? What other housing options are open to the applicant? What supports are available to the applicant in public housing? So the applicant can't specify particular buildings or locations, but they can specify their communities that they wish to expect to live in those circumstances. Inadequate housing. So supporting information, it either comes from municipal building inspectors, fire marshal office, Department of Environmental Labor, and Housing Nova Scotia can also send out inspections as well. The supporting information usually details the health or safety issue. RTB action against the landlord. If they're renting from someone and the place is in that condition, we'll ask them to go to the Residential Tenancy Board, which is RTB, and have their landlord attempt to fix the issue first. If they can't, then we usually go for condemning the building and moving the applicant into our programs. So the PA is not meant to be a short-term or emergency. It's not meant to be short-term. So assessment should include the applicant's intention to remain in public in with our programs, not for the short term. Okay. So we can grant only in very limited circumstances when all criteria are clearly met. The integrity of chronological selection process will be maintained. And And seniors and family public housing eligibility criteria, that just goes back to when I went to the household income. If you're a senior, our age criteria is 58 and above. If you're under 58 and you're not in a family dynamic, we would just list you as non-elderly, which would open you up for 2 of our adult buildings, which are in the Sydney region, and also for chronic vacancies. So those are areas that we find it hard to fill in units of lower demand. The more rural we get, the less demand the buildings do have. So the bedroom counts would be defined by your family makeup. Our program, we provide housing for non-senior single individuals in the chronic vacancies adult buildings. And we also can have them apply for the rent supplement program as well. If there's a longer wait for the areas and they might need service quicker, they might be able to find a private rental that can be subsidized through rent supplement. And then we have a residency criteria, which is our third one to qualify for housing in general. So that just means 12 out of 23 consecutive months or 5 years of an adult life. That's waived frequently in CBRM, but that is the residency criteria per our manual, is 12 out of 23 consecutive months or 5 years of your adult life lived in the area. We also have enriched housing, and that's usually to close some gaps on people are in transition. They're in transition from independent living, and they might need some more support. So they might want to apply for our enriched housing. We have 2 complexes, but they're in the north side, CBRM, and in Sydney areas for those. But they do provide additional services, like they would provide cleaning of the unit like on a weekly basis. They would provide a meal a day. They would have nurse services that they could have access to, because those properties are connected with long-term care facilities as well. Okay, what am I going to? So ineligibility. So an applicant may be deemed ineligible if they're a former tenant with arrears who fails to accept a repayment agreement, if they were evicted from public if they were evicted in the past from poor behavior, or if they cannot live independently, or they pose a risk to safety, security to persons or property associated with housing authority. So we cannot provide the housing solution to all applicants. Some will be denied, and this is a lot of the factors that we do weigh when we go through like reference checks and landlord checks. That's a lot of the criteria has to be in good standing with those reference and landlord checks there. Exceptions to the eligibility of our criteria is chronic vacancies. So if someone doesn't meet our criteria, or maybe they're on the borderline, say their income is just a little bit above the Hills table, and we do have chronic vacancies available, we will offer chronic vacancies to those people that are on the borderline of being eligible. We haven't had a lot of chronic vacancies in the past year or so. Accessibility needs are considered. So permanent use of a wheelchair must be required or considered when applying with us as well, along with any other disabilities that need accommodations. Household income limits, residency can be overlooked depending on the scenario that we're dealing with in those situations. Our rental structures, they're self-supporting. And for the leaseholder, we use a graduated rental scale. So for seniors, it's going to go from 16.7% to 30% of their income will be for housing, depending on their income. For families, it's 25% of their income is their rental calculation is based on. And if you're on social assistance and you're living with us, there's a income assistance rent scale that we follow. And it ranges from $175 for a single adult with no dependents to $309 for a family with 2 adults and 2 or more children. And then we also have a transfer requests. So we have tenants that live with us and they want to move to another area or another facility based upon needs. So issues, we look at our costs or impact on other waitlist applicants, and we really look at the needs versus wants for those requests. If you're looking for a transfer, it's after you're living with us for about 2 years and you don't have any arrears, or if you have any health or medical issues. Like a lot of our transfers that we do approve are, a lot of our clients have mobility issues. They don't have them when they first move in with us, but they start to get mobility issues as they live with us. So they might be living on the second floor in a building that doesn't have an elevator. So their request will be, hey, I just want to move to the first floor so I don't have to do the stairs. So we see those commonly, and they're commonly approved because of those needs. Or if they have work and they need to move to another location to get closer to their job, they might want to change in scenery, tenant or marital disputes, social issues are not considered valid reasons for transfer. Transfers within complexes are based on need. Like I said, its majority is due to mobility issues. We do face some challenges in housing. So we have applicants that will start to have dementia, Alzheimer's while living with us. We have emergency situations that come up, but we don't provide emergency housing. So it's really hard to address those in an expedient way, aside from steer them to other organizations that can help them more immediate than we can. Housing underage applicants and seniors complexes leads sometimes to compatibility issues. And then housing applicants with persistent mental illness is a frequent common issue that we do deal with. Frequent frivolous transfer requests, rental arrears. So we do have community relations staff. They do help when our property managers do deal with situations of these nature. They'll refer to our community relations officers to come in and help with assessments, and then help with supports that they might be able to initiate to keep our clients more comfortable and accommodated, even if they do deem them not to be able to independently live. We still have to wait for long-term care homes to open up for those clients to transfer to. So we usually have to come up with some sort of intermediate accommodation in between while we're transitioning from that till their turn comes up for long-term care. Our portfolio size for Victoria, I just put that on slide 21 there. It's so right now we currently have 12 family and 50 senior units available, 62 total for the region. And currently we have 33 applicants on our wait list. 14 are for families and 19 are for seniors. Our application staff, that's usually who deals with every applicant that comes through our programs. So they start off by speaking with our application staff. They do all the intake, the assessments. They recommend to the board based upon the criteria being met or not met. They do the waitlist management, unit allocations, and then the community relations staff. They're the ones that liaise with our tenant and our external organizations, community organizations. They play a supportive role to our application staff and the property managers, and they do participate a lot in tenant advocacy as well. Our property managers, their overall responsibility for all aspects of the housing portfolio itself. They report directly to Rami Kayed, who's with us on the call. So if you have any concerns about property managers and you want to vent them out, I would definitely contact Rami first. And the property managers, on top of that overall responsibility, they handle the rental arrears, tenant issues, evictions, tenant retention, the vacancy, maintenance referrals. They handle RTB action. They're pretty busy positions to have, and they're constantly on the go managing those issues and those business practices. And then on the last slide, I just put our contacts there. So I put me, Rami, Fred Gillis, who's my applications manager, community relations office, Maggie McIntyre, and then I put the property manager for your area is Edgar Hillman, and I put his contact info there as well. I'd like to open up the floor for any questions or answers that you guys might have or want.
Thank you very much, Sean. Excellent information. We will open it. Housing is an issue across the municipality, and I would like to start with Norman McDonald up in District Number 8, if he is with us. I know he's experiencing some technical issues with his internet. So Norman, are you with us, and do you have any questions for Sean or Rami?
Yes, thank you, Morton. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Very good.
Yeah, I just have a few questions. Thank you very much for the presentation. Very informative. I was just wondering then, like I live up in District 8, which is northern Cape Breton, Nappy's Brook area. And we have 2 houses available. At one time we had 6. And it appears that the housing is being sold off in the northern portion of Victoria County. I was just wondering, is there a reason for that, where there's so much adequate housing that's needed? And why are the homes being...
So I think, Norman, the houses that are gone right now, they were part of the Rural Native Housing Program. From my understanding, that's not part of the public housing portfolio itself. It's another program that we've taken on that CMHC used to run. I think it was about 12 years ago, we might have taken that portfolio on. So they don't go through the same budget. They don't go through the same rental criteria. So those units, they wouldn't be based upon your income for rent. They were based upon market rent. And then on top of that, our clients that stayed in those would have to be responsible for the heat and lights on top of that market rent rate. So they weren't competitive. We weren't able to convert them into the public housing portfolio. So whenever we would get no more demand after 6 months, I would mark them for disposal because there's no one else that wanted them, which would mean they would either sell them off and put them on the free market.
Okay, great, sir. Thanks for the
No problem.
And just lastly there, in regard to over my course of being on council with emergency housing in Victoria County, just a brief explanation. Is there emergency housing in the county?
I'm not actually, I don't think there would be unless Ingonish and I don't think Ingonish has emergency housing at all, but I do know that DCS has been the past group that I would contact for any emergency housing needs.
Okay, I was just wondering that. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No problem. But we do have some, I know there's multiple shelters. We do have like between CBRM, and I know it's not adequate location, but if they did need to get oh my God, I'm stuttering like a crazy guy today. If they needed to get service, they would have an option where I think they'd have availability to transport them there or whatnot. But DCS is the main department that handles any emerging situations that I've been told in the past when I've had to deal with certain situations where there wasn't available community shelter programs in place. Like we deal with that a lot on the west coast of Cape Breton as well, like through Inverness, Shetty Camp, Mabou. They have similar issues with having access to proper shelters.
Rami, you had your hand up. Did you have a comment?
Yes, I just want to add to Sushan's answer regarding the first question. For the rural and native housing in that district, one of the other reasons also for disposing of the properties that we did dispose of was I believe there was a fire in one unit and it was not feasible to keep that unit. So there's like different factors there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was like 3 years ago. I think a unit burned badly there and it wasn't recoverable. And the demand for that portfolio for the non-public housing piece wasn't supportive from our wait list that we could fill someone on the wait list into that unit if we did do like a rebuild. Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to drop down to District Number 7. Any questions or comments, Jackie?
Hi, great presentation. You answered some of my questions I had. But currently, do you find there's a greater need from the public looking for housing? And if so, like what percentage would be north of Smoky? Or, currently you say you have a wait list for 33.
Mhm.
How long usually is this wait list? And can you tell me if what percentage would be north of Smoky for the wait list?
Well, I can tell you what I know. When I started in 2018, our wait list was around 930 for the entire island. Victoria has been similarly between 28 and 35. The entire time it hasn't had a growth in demand from a numbers perspective. My waitlist has grown by about 100 for the whole island, but most of that demand has increased significantly for CBRM. Yeah, that's where we've experienced the most increase in demand has been in CBRM. The rural areas, I don't have an antidote as to why I'm not seeing demand increase there, because the housing market has increased across the province in every area that I've looked. So normally I'd see demand increase when cost of living becomes uncontrollable, which is it's getting a little higher now than what I normally used to see, but I've not seen significant increases in rural areas like Victoria over that time. But yeah, didn't have a major significant increase overall, but from the increase that I have seen, it is driving from housing costs and housing stock being available to others for others that normally wouldn't even take the non-public route. It's just there's no options. They're starting to dwindle down, and I think it's a lot of it because the market has increased significantly enough. Even when we had a couple of years back, we had student concerns of finding housing for students. They were even coming to public housing looking for options, and we're like, they have to meet the criteria, so sorry, but that probably changed in CBRM, the landlord dynamic to want to rent out rooms instead of to people that normally wouldn't apply with us that are now applying with us.
Thank you.
Are
Any
there
other
any-
questions?
Yeah,
Oh,
are there
sorry, Jackie,
any
go ahead.
other, are there any plans to increase housing in Victoria County for such people?
I think there are plans to increase housing availability. I'm not sure if it's going to be directly through public housing or through a partnership between the government, community housing programs, because I know they seem to be funding a lot more into community housing groups too. So they're leaning a lot more on the communities themselves to come up with some housing solutions as well. And they're putting their funds in those areas to motivate them. So I do see there will be housing coming in, whether it's a purely public how I don't think it's going to be pure public health growth. I mean, public housing growth, it'll be a mixture between public housing growth and more availability for community housing options.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Appreciate your
Um,
questions. Deputy Warden Duffy, any questions or comments, please?
Sorry, Bruce, may I add just one thing on the previous question, if you don't mind?
Go ahead,
Uh,
please.
For the first question, the number of applicants on the wait list from Ingonish and Dingwall is 19 people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Deputy Warden.
Yes, thanks, Warden, and thanks, Sean and Raymond for the presentation. Greatly appreciate it. I want to say thanks first of all. I've had some dealings with your staff, and always very much trying your best to help out. And I did have one PA that you guys were lifesavers. Let's put it that way. So it's great to be working with you, and I do appreciate everything you do. Getting back, I think Jackie's already asked the question. We're in a crisis down here for housing. Everybody's looking, and it's not just people that fit the criteria, but everybody. So housing is a major thing. I'm just wondering, when the first houses were built down here, like the senior, who actually built them? Who actually put the money forward? Who actually built them? And I'm just wondering if, based on that, how do we go forward? I know you mentioned that there's a couple of programs in effect that may add housing, but any idea who built the first ones and how they came about to be?
Well, I know all the public housing portfolio was built by the province through tender, either through contract or through tender. And the RNH, I wouldn't be able to say who built those those are ones that we inherited. So I imagine it was the federal government that had tenders out that built those properties. So I know back then we were in a scenario where when they probably was in the 70s, where they built a lot of the first sets of big stock throughout the province itself. That would have been all through tender and contractor through the government itself, because the government of Nova Scotia owns the public housing assets, and they have Cape Breton Island Housing Authority. We manage the assets for them. So we actually don't do the building at all. Like, I don't participate in panels on how we're going to build the next one. I'll participate in panels to tell them demand off our wait list, and would we be able to fill a building if you built one there and stuff like that. We usually participate on that kind of level from the client demand, and would this serve us as a community if we built this size complex here? Do you have enough demand? And they'd come to us for that information. Yeah, I hope that helps.
No, it does help, Sean. And you did mention to Councillor Horgan there about some of the programs that are coming up with the possibility of new housing. If you do have any information on that that you could share and forward by email or something down the road, anything you hear would be greatly appreciated, because we're kind of looking to increase the housing in the area, like most municipalities.
Yeah.
Really would like any information that you're aware of coming out.
Well, I know they're promoting a lot of private to build now too, so they can have it like either community run, or the community might ask us to run it for them. I have no idea what that future will look like, but I know a lot of it's being spurred from the Housing Commission recommendations that they had a year and a half ago. So they released those probably in the spring last year. The outcomes, I mean, one of them was governance of public housing, which I think we're going to be starting to address over the next year. And then all the other recommendations was around, zoning, so they could have housing done in areas better, and then funding community groups with more subsidy, so they can have more money available, so they can spend capital to build those buildings, or put out the tenders to have the private developers come in and build those buildings. So they can either be managed by an organization or managed by the community itself, depending on how the community wishes to proceed on their plans. So, I mean, I would definitely look at finding a good developer that wants to work for a nonprofit sector as a developer, and as a community. I think there's going to be programs available in the upcoming year that are going to be motivators for you guys to find those developers, to see what you guys could have. I mean, whenever I get more documentation from those outcomes, because I know they're doing a lot of research around it now and a lot of planning on how they want to roll those programs out, I'll share whatever is shared with me with you guys. It's no problem. Yeah,
that'd be greatly appreciated, Sean. And yeah, we'll be talking to the province also about the Housing Commission and whatnot. And we've also identified some lands for development here in the Victoria County, and the province is supposed to be doing the same thing. So it seems to be coming together. It's just that the need is there now, and whatever we can do to speed it up, we'll definitely be doing. But do appreciate all your hard work, and thanks very much for your presentation this evening.
thanks very much, Larry.
Thank you, Deputy. We're just keeping an eye on our time as well. We have other presenters in the queue as well. So we'll just ask questions and answers to be as quick as possible. So we'll go to District number 5, Councillor Patterson, please.
Thank you, Warden. I'll make this short. Sean, I just following up from Councillor Organ's question about the wait list, 33 people. Are they already accepted?
They're all accepted, eligible applicants, just waiting for their call.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, if someone waits a while, we do a full assessment again prior to giving them the keys, just to make sure they still fit the criteria.
This wait list, as you mentioned, chronological order, first in.
Yes.
So my last question is, what would be the average time on the wait list? Do you haven't?
Well, the average time for all of Cape Breton is 2 years, 4 months range for the average wait. That means someone could get housed tomorrow after applying today. And it also means someone can get housed in about 10 years if they apply at the same time, depending on where they're asking to live. So I'll give you an example. There's one building in Sydney that has a wait list over 100. just one building because it's a high demand building, because of where it's situated. It's located to a lot of amenities. It's one of the newer buildings, so a lot of people say, I just want to go there. And so they'll wait extremely much longer than everyone else that's, hey, I'll pick me any building in this community that I fit. And they'll probably get served a lot quicker. So depending on your choice as an applicant, that will probably define the average wait time. But some people are specific, but the people that really need us, they usually expand their options to an area that makes more sense, and they'll get served in less than the average wait time.
Thank you. Councillor Patterson. We're going to go to district number 4, Councillor Longa.
Hi, thank you, Sean and Ramey, for that presentation. Same in my district, there's a big housing shortage everywhere. I did lose the list when that Ramey put up, or somebody put up a list. I think it was Ramey put up a list of like contact numbers, and it came off the screen. So if we could be sent that.
No problem. I
again,
sent it
would
to
be
Stephanie as well. She has a copy.
Awesome.
So,
And
yeah.
then also the funding for the private sector making houses, I see that as a possibility in my district. So any information that you have in that regard would be great. And there was one part of your presentation I didn't really get, which was you said something about 12 out of 24 or 5 years of your life. What was that in regard to?
That's the residential requirements. So the 3 criteria to apply for public housing, we look at your income, and then your income, and then it goes towards like your age or your family, and then it goes to your residency as well.
So if you've lived in Cape Breton, you mean, for 12 months out of 2 years, or
Victoria County,
or
Victoria County, if
County.
you want to apply for Victoria County. So for residency, it would be for the county.
But there's a big difference between 12 out of 24 or 5 years. I don't get that.
Oh, so it's if it's 5 years in your adult life,
Okay.
or 13 months in the last 24 months of since you applied.
Yeah.
So in the last 2 years, if you applied now, in the last 2 years, if you lived 13 months in Victoria County, then you establish residency.
Okay.
Is either that or living there or living in Victoria County for 5 years in your adult life.
Okay.
So this will cause like a common misperception. So like if you ever hear of like, oh, someone's moving from Ontario to move into public housing, did you ever hear? Did anyone hear that before? Well, it's like if they lived here from age 18 to 23 and then moved away to Ontario, their circumstances changed, they would meet the residency criteria because they lived 5 years of their adult life in that region. So when they apply, they would meet the residential criteria for that zone. So they could say, yeah, I want to live in Victoria when I get my application approved.
Thanks.
Thank you, Barb. And again, I'm going to try to keep us moving along. And we're going to Councillor McLeod, district number 2, please.
Thank you for your presentation. They give me all the answers, all kind of questions, and my answers are filled out. Only just a comment. So Cape Breton Housing, you locate all the people in waiting list with the private developments constructions. Like Cape Breton Housing is not going to build any houses anymore.
We never
So
did.
you are in waiting for these developers build the houses, and then is when you put the waiting list there.
Yeah, so even if the province, if they were expanding public housing, it would be another organization that builds the assets themselves. Once they're built and they're ready to use, then they would either say, okay, Cape Breton Island Housing Authority, you're going to manage that, put in your next round of clients you have in the chronological wait list and fill that building up and start managing it. Or it could be under a different program, and maybe they reach out to the community and they go, okay, we got this asset. How do you guys want to manage this? But if the province is going through the building, they'd normally go to our organization to manage it for them.
Okay. Yeah, just asking because Victoria County, we have a few just a few houses, a few senior complex. So sounds like we're going to be an expense of onto the province of non-profit organizations will build some.
Mhm.
So I would just suggest, if you put us in your list of a county is in need of housing, and if we either or another we can find some developers or some programs, like Larry say, we'll be welcoming all the information.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor McLeod. We're going to go finally to Councillor McNeil.
Thank you, Warden, and thank you, Sean and Rami, for your presentation. Just a quick comment. We're fortunate here in Iona to have a facility through Cape Breton Housing. And just one question about the accessibility. Is there any outlook on improving the accessibility, especially to the upstairs in that building?
It's not so much that we're addressing a lot of the accessibility to elevators. Our accessibility programs are around making units more accessible. So it's like addressing making this entire unit so someone with a wheelchair might be able to use the entire inside of the unit, where the cabinets for the kitchen will be lower, the bathroom would be outfitted to have the space requirements for that. So we've been doing that the last couple of years, is picking areas where we have more demand for accessibility, and we'll slate some of our units by working with the province under their program to convert those units. There are a couple of buildings that we do get requests for elevators on, and half the time we'll either move the client that is having the issue to an accessible unit or a ground floor, depending on what their specific needs are. They might just need a ground floor and not have to do stairs, and that'll be it. A lot of the elevators don't get installed because of the pure cost alone. If you have like a 2-level building and there's not a lot of units in the building itself, like say 15 or 20, I could almost build a building if I had to put an elevator in a building that didn't have one.
Okay.
Like for cost wise. Yeah.
Thank you.
And sometimes there's no space to put the elevator, and that might lead to remove 2 units, one from the downstairs and one from upstairs. So you're jeopardizing 2 units in order to put an elevator. So sometimes that we face that problem as well.
Yeah. But we do work with clients on usually on their case by case concerns or issues that they're experiencing. So either transfer them to a more accommodating unit. Sometimes they might not want to go to another unit. They just want to stay where they are, and not all can have a solution around it. But we usually work with every client that brings anything to us to accommodate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to wrap up here very quickly. And I just want to speak just for 2 seconds on my own district, which is the Village of Baddeck, and we have Lakeview Manor here. And I can tell you the demand for vacancies in that building is always high. As soon as you have a vacancy, honestly, I get a call 10 minutes later, and we know there's a wait list. And I'm glad you gave us the information that you don't build them, you don't own them. So if we're going to lobby government for additional units, we're going to have to go to the province. So that's a takeaway from today. And I also, just very quickly, we're going to follow up again with information on enriched housing. We have a large seniors or a large aging population here, and I think there's value in that, but that's a conversation for another day. So we have another presentation coming up. I just want to thank you very much for your time. It was most informative. And I think we're going to follow up again with you on some of these specific programs once we have a chance to kind of take a look at the ones that are available. And if there's ones of special interest for different districts within the municipality, I would probably like to have an additional conversation with you. So
no problem. Yeah, that would be great. Appreciate the time. Thanks, everyone.
No, we appreciate your time, and thank you, Rami, as well. And
thank you for having us.
Great presentation tonight. Very informative. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
See you.
See you.
Going to move on to the second presentation this evening. It's the Cape Breton Cancer Center, and I know there are a number of members here from the center. I'm not sure if I have Bob McCachran as being the lead person for the presentation tonight, but we also see on the screen it's Bob King. So I'm not sure if it's King Bob McEachran or it's Bob McEachran.
No, it is Bob McEachran. Good to see you again. But Paula's going to lead off here, our lead on with the foundation. So she's going to begin and kind of go from there, and she'll introduce the crew.
Now that I
Great.
see and hear you, I know who you are, Bob. So thank you. My apologies. That came
No,
across the
that's
top.
okay. Somebody put King on it. My wife enjoys it. That's her maiden name. So she's very pleased this evening to see that on the screen.
Well, she got recognition tonight. So anyway, I'll turn it over to you folks. Go ahead with your presentation, please.
Okay, I'm Paula McNeil. I am the CEO for the Cape Breton Regional Hospital Foundation. And I am going to share my screen so I can go through the presentation. Thank you so much to each of you for giving us the time this evening to tell you about something that unfortunately touches upon most of us and we feel is very important to all of our communities, including Victoria County. So this evening, we're going to, I'll do a few introductions just to tell you who has joined me today and give you a brief overview of the Cape Breton Regional Hospital Foundation. You'll hear specifically about cancer care here in the Eastern Zone of Nova Scotia Health, and then we'll zero in on our Cancer Care Here at Home campaign. For introductions, so as I said, I'm Paula McNeil, CEO for the Cape Breton Regional Hospital Foundation. Joining me is Mike McPhee. Mike grew up in River Bourgeois and his parents still live in the community, as a matter of fact. He now lives in St. Margaret's Bay, just outside of Halifax. Mike is a senior advisor with the RBC Wealth Management, and he is also perhaps best well known as being the having a Stanley Cup win with the Montreal Canadiens when he was assistant captain. So he's also taken on this volunteer role as the chair for the Cancer Care Here at Home campaign. Dr. Rex Dunn is a general surgeon and a vascular surgeon. He has over 40 years of experience, and it was a lucky day for Cape Breton when 1979 Rex moved here. He is part of the campaign cabinet for our committee, and he's also an avid sailor, so you may see him sailing at a Bedeck sometimes. And Bob McEachran is joining me. So Bob grew up in Judique, but he now calls Port Hawkesbury home. You may know him. He owns Maple Engraving, and he also owns King Mac Properties, and he might be best well known because him and his wife Brenda owned CIGO for many years and sold it just a few years back, and he's one of the wonderful volunteers who is helping out with the Cancer Care Here at Home campaign. To give you a very high overview of the Cape Breton Regional Hospital Foundation, back in 1985, there was a group of community-minded volunteers who got together. They were actually led by Jack Yeaser, and they were lobbying for a regional center for health, which eventually became the Cape Breton Regional Hospital. And that was built in 1995. So the foundation was established in 85 so that they could lobby for this regional center for health. So since that time, the regional hospital gets over 600,000 patient visits a year. It's a very busy facility, and it looks after the people on Cape Breton Island and extends beyond that for its cancer center, which takes in the Eastern Zone of Nova Scotia Health, which is Cape Breton Island, Antigonish, and Guysborough area. So more than $55 million has been raised to support the healthcare needs of people on Cape Breton Island and in those areas that I mentioned. And some $1.5 to $2 million is dispersed. It's dispersed annually to support healthcare needs. We support everything from the big to the small, everything from making sure people have gas cards so that they can travel to their cancer appointments, to buying vital pieces of equipment and everything in between. It's a very important facility to healthcare and the people of Cape Breton. I'm going to hand things over now to Bob McEachran, who's going to specifically talk about cancer care here in our zone for Nova Scotia Health.
Thanks very much, Paula. Many of you around the table, I'm sure, will remember back when in '98, when the current cancer center was built. And what's kind of an eye opener for us back in '98 when the doors were open, it was meant to accommodate about 15,000 visits per year. We're already up to 45,000 as of 2021. So you can see the need for not only a new facility, but then when you look at the things like the highest rates of cancer in the country, the fact that we as Cape Bretoners present in the latter stages of a diagnosis, which is a very disturbing and negative thing for our population. And in combination of that is the fact that we have the highest rates of poverty in the country, along with an aging population. So you combine all that together, you understand that not only do we need a new facility, but we need some additional programming in that new facility in order for us to address the issues that surround cancer. And sometimes, like I say, it's not just the cancer issue, it's other mitigating circumstances around things like poverty and the ability for people to get to the center and all the good things that the foundation does right now. So the exciting thing about this is that we are building a new facility. The other piece that we have to be sure of, that we offer the programming in that facility to meet the needs of Cape Bretoners. And that is why our team has gotten together and what we're so passionate about. We rarely talk about the actual facility, to be honest with you. We talk about the programming that will be available in that facility that will help people be healthier and to be around much longer than what we are experiencing at this point. Mike, I'm going to hand it over to you. I think you're coming up next. You're on mute there, Mike. There you go.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, I think Paula mentioned that we all have our cancer stories. And if we go around the room, I'm sure we could talk about family, friends, colleagues that were affected by cancer in one way or another. On the good side, I've had a dad and a father-in-law that both are survivors of cancer, but a lot more on the other side of this slate, including I had a brother-in-law, 56 years old, that died of cancer a year and a half ago. Several years ago, a 90-year-old niece, multiple uncles. So we all have our stories. When I was asked to chair the campaign by Paula and Stan McDonald, who chairs the foundation, it was a pretty easy decision for me. I've gotten a lot also from Cape Breton, gave me my start, so it was a good chance for me to give back to Cape Breton. The goals of that we have, the main goal obviously is to improve the outcomes. Bob talked about the numbers are pretty grim for Cape Breton when it comes to cancer. So we're trying to improve on the care for cancer patients. And one of the keys also is to try and make it so that cancer patients don't have to go to health packs, don't have to leave Cape Breton to get treatment as much as possible anyways. And lots of reasons for that, from mental health to support of family and friends. When you're going through treatments, you need to have that support, and that's very important in your recovery. So the first thing, and we're going back a year now. We didn't launch, but we built a cabinet. So my first job was to build a team, and you'll see on the screen two members of the team have already been introduced by Paula, Bob McCachran and Dr. Rex Dunn. You'll hear from Dr. Dunn in a second. The other four on this list, you'll probably recognize. Some of you will recognize George Unsworth, a respected accountant in Sydney. Dwight Rutherham is a lawyer in Sydney. We also have some diversity regionally. Martha is from Mabu. Bob's from Port Hawkesbury. Martha's a Campbell. She's a Van Zutphen from Zutphen. from Mabu, and Catherine Van Nostren, also a business owner from Sydney. So we have a group that we wanted to have people who are going to roll up their sleeves and get to work, and all our community leaders and volunteers in their community. So we're very, very fortunate to have a strong cabinet. And you'll see in the top right hand of your screen, I asked Chief Terry Paul to be honorary chair, and it took him a second or two to say yes, and then he wanted to know what he could do. And obviously, Chief Terry Paul is very well respected in the community for what he's done at Membertou, but also nationally. So we've got a great team. In addition to Paula's at the foundation, Paula has a great team as well. And part of that team is also other members of the community that aren't on the screen. Well-known members of the community, leaders that we go through for, especially for me being new to this, to have mentors like Joe Shannon, Annette Bear-Sheeran, Stuart McLeod. There's actually somebody, Bruce, from has a summer home in Bedeck, Keith McLeod, that we've been getting some good advice from as well. So with the team in place, we launched in November 10th of this year, a $10 million campaign to improve cancer care in Cape Breton. And so far, I'm pleased to say we're over the halfway mark. So we've had great traction so far, but it's the last half that takes a little bit more work. And we're hoping that you'll be able to help us a bit towards our goal. Before I'm going to pass it to Dr. Rex Dunn first, because when you have a campaign, one of the first questions that's asked of you is, oh, what are you going to purchase? We know there's a building going up. Government's going to build a building. Lots of things in that building that government doesn't buy. That the foundations, across Canada, that's their job. And so this is work that Dr. Dunn took a lead role on. Let him explain some of those causes.
Okay, can you hear me then?
Yep.
Am I on?
Yeah.
I'm going to assume. Warden Morrison and everybody there, thanks also for this opportunity to present. It's a wonderful cause and a once-in-a-lifetime build up there outside the regional hospital, as you can see when you drive by. So my job here is to just run through the causes that we've identified and cleared with the necessary people. You can't just go and buy a new machine and deliver it at the door and say, here, this will be nice for you. It has to be vetted that this is needed, that somebody will pick up the running costs. So that takes a bit of work to talk to all the people and make sure that everyone from administrative right down to the folks that actually use the machines are at peace with that. So really quickly then, there's a couple of things there. The patient programs, I'm going to talk about them first. Complementary therapies are on the rise and very beneficial for cancer patients. Exercise is also becoming a much more prominent part. My particular favorite here is the Cancer Patient Care Fund. At one time in my career, I did a lot of cancer surgery, and I became very much involved with trying to help patients and their families get to the place they need to be, have the support they need to be at a very vulnerable time. And this is a very valuable fund, and certainly the foundation is going to help support that. Research and innovation is something that's on a logarithmic curve. It rises more every year and is very important. Numerous clinical trials are going on all the time. There's a bunch even now in the regional hospital. There are only 2 centers in Nova Scotia really big enough to have a significant research component. And so the foundation has allotted some funds so that physicians don't necessarily have to rely on industry here to come up with programs and research that will benefit cancer patients. Next, there's a list of vital equipment. So I'll just run through those. there's a thing called Variant Identified Guidance System. It's a big title for a system in the radiotherapy unit that really just allows the radiotherapist to focus their work more precisely. It basically is one of those things, and we'll keep running into this, where what was perfectly adequate 10 years ago is old news now. It's substandard, and you've got to have the latest and best if you want to offer the best for your patient. So this is one of those things. Gamma camera, we've had one of those for years. This is essential for doing things like bone scans, brain scans. However, the one that we have is at the very end of its life. And workup of cancer patients is quite often necessary to do various types of scans. And I'm pleased to say already the foundation has made sure that this one will be replaced. There's an odd little thing here called image guided sinus surgery system. I won't spend too much time on that one, just to say that in the sinus, there can be cancer like anywhere else. Very difficult place to see. And today's ENT surgeons are trained in the use of this little system that can identify those. And without it, those patients are traveling to Halifax. So that's on our list. It's not a big ticket item. Radio frequency ablation generator, another big mouthful. This one allows radiotherapists, surgeons, and also certain radiologists to place a little electrode right in the center of a tumor, turn on the juice, and basically kill those cells without necessarily affecting any of the surrounding tissue. We've had those machines in Sydney before, but we need to replace the one we've got. And again, a very important tool at times in treatment of cancer. There are patients going to Halifax now because there's no option. A dedicated breast ultrasound, while mammography remains the main tool for following and diagnosing cancer, breast ultrasound is also very important. And so we put that on the list. Cardiac echocardiograms. So this particular technique is very commonly used for all sorts of cardiac problems, but it's important in treatment of patients with cancer because much of the chemotherapy, for example, can affect the heart. So you really need to know where you are before you start and as you go along. It's a very busy service. They have a couple machines, but they're getting old and we want to add another one there. Multiplane IR room, another sort of odd name, but this is a room in the hospital where interventional radiology occurs. What that means is if you have a particular problem and you need to have an intervention such as drainage or stent, and 300 patients a year that are treated that way in the unit we have now, but it's not the best, like so many other things in the hospital that it's dependent on technology. This is increasing at a phenomenal rate. So we need what's called a biplane machine, which will give much better images. We'd like to do that. But finally, another one that I like is a thoracic cancer clinic. If you have cancer of the lung right now in Sydney, the delays are too long because we don't have a thoracic service anymore. So even for workup now and for consultations, many times you're traveling in the winter to Halifax to see your specialist and have your treatment. And there's been talk recently finally of starting a clinic to recover as much as we can of that service here. And we want to be there to support that. And finally, it's not on the list. And some of you may have heard of this particular test, and it has a relation to thoracic surgery, and that's a PET scanner. Like so many other things I've already mentioned, this technology has been around for a while, but it's vastly improved from what it used to be. It gives pictures of cancer that are absolutely different than any other modality that we have. And therefore, many doctors that treat, say, lung cancer or esophageal cancer will not begin the treatment until the patient has a PET scan. And it's also required for follow-up. We would like to have this on our list, and maybe we will. But this is one where the shall I say, senior administration is yet to totally commit to saying, yeah, well, okay, you guys can fund that and we'll pick up the ongoing costs, which are significant. There's no doubt about that. So we hope to be able to add that one to our list in the near future. And really, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, kindly let me know.
Thank you. Was
Thanks,
something
Rex.
else you want to add, Mike? Sorry, go ahead, Mike. I
Yeah,
thought there
thanks.
was something.
Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, I'll close. I know we don't want to go over our time. Yeah, just to reiterate what Rex said, this is obviously a very important project for Cape Breton. It will be an anchor in the community for years to come, and it'll also attract, we think, medical professionals and retirees to Cape Breton. I think everybody would agree with the importance of this project. We have an ask, a specific ask. We're often asked, well, what range? What do you think? What do it would be appropriate for a county like Victoria County? And our ask is 100,000 over 5 years, and we backed it up, I guess, with we've got data on unique visits from Victoria County for fiscal 2021. There were 155 unique visits, meaning 155 different people visited the Cancer Care Center, and which is over 2,000 visits if you look at an average of about 12 to 14 visits per cancer patient. That's the data we have. So we're asking for your support. We hope you will support us, and that's the number we thought we would ask for. I guess we should probably put it back to you and your group, Council, Bruce, and just see if you have any questions before we end.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Mike, and I'm glad you asked the ask, because that certainly is consideration for us. So I do, and I just want to be again aware of the time. Excellent information, and certainly when it comes to cancer and cancer care, it's touched every one of us. You're absolutely right. Everybody that spoke, it's very true. So I just, if there's any counselors that would really have a relevant question or comment, I would ask just if you could ask, if you're in districts 5, 6, 7, or 8, would you just ask your question, please, rather than going up and down the district. So anybody from 5, 6, 7, or 8. Councilor McDonald.
Yes, thank you, Warden. And thank you, everyone, for the presentation. I just want to say the staff at the Cancer Center there in Sydney is totally amazing people. I'm a ground paramedic since 1999. I've been there way more than I've ever wished to transporting patients. And hats off to everybody there. And from District 8 up here, you have 100% full support from myself. And just to close on that, Mr. McPhee, I have your 1985-86 OPG hockey card. I'm an avid hockey collector. And
there we go.
Take care. That's it, Warden, for up in Northern Cape Breton. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody from 5, 6, or 7?
Just one question, Warden. If one wanted to make a personal donation, would it go through the regional hospital, or do you have a separate cancer fund, I guess is the way to put it? How would one make a personal donation? Paula?
I can answer that, Fraser. Yes, it's a you can make a personal donation, and it can go directly to the through the foundation, and it's cancercarehereathome.ca is how you can make the donation. So it's all one word, cancercarehereathome.ca, and that will take you right to the site where you can make it.
Great, thank you.
Or you can also make a call too. So if you call 902-578-3561, you can make arrangements that way too. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay. Thank you, Paula. Thank you for that information. 6 or 7, going once, going twice. We're going to drop down to 1 to 4. Councilor McNeil has his hand up.
No, thank you all for your presentation tonight. And as you know, the Cancer Center is an important facility for all of Cape Breton. The past 15, well, not the last 2 years, but the 15 years prior to that, Victoria County, through my district budget and the Highland Village and the local Legion here, Branch 124, have sponsored dinner every year. And over 15 years, we've donated probably around $70,000 towards the cancer center through that dinner. So hopefully with COVID, as you know, we weren't able to have it the last 2 years, but we look to start that up as soon as we're able to in the future. And the last 3 years in a row, the dinner has raised over $6,000 a year. So hopefully that will start up pretty soon, and hopefully we'll see you all there too once it starts up. So thank you all for your work too. Bye.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you for your
Excellent.
Districts 2 or 4.
I just want to say thank you to all of you for everything that you're doing, and we're all affected by this, and it's awesome what you're doing. Thanks.
Thanks, Barb.
Anyone else before we?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just District 2, Perla McLeod. Thank you for the presentation. I know it's so important for us as before we have some in our hospital, this service and was taken away. So now everybody got to Cape Breton to do the regional, and it's an excellent project, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to wrap up, and again, want to thank you very much for your presentation. Also want to thank you for each one of you for stepping up and sitting on that committee. It's quite an undertaking. It's great for all of Cape Breton, and I can certainly tell you that even though we're 50 miles down the road, we very much value the regional hospital and the cancer center. We have residents that are accessing that facility on a daily basis. We certainly will take your ask under consideration, and I don't normally say this to people when they do present, but I think it'll be referred to budget, and I think it'll be looked at rather favorably at the time. So I wouldn't say that we're going to write the check tonight, but you might want to go down by the mailbox later on in the spring. You may find a donation there from Victoria County. So just as we do wrap up, do we have a motion to refer the request from the Cancer Center to budget deliberations, please?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McNeil. Do we have a seconder?
Second.
Second by Councillor Long. So thank you very much, each and every one of you, for presenting tonight. It was great information, and I can feel fairly secure that you can count on our support as we move forward.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity, guys. Appreciate it.
If I can just make a
CAO has
comment.
their hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to make a comment. If we can just, if you wouldn't mind, Paula, maybe we can send you the application so that we are consistent across the board. If we can send you an application for funding, municipal funding.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah,
and we'd be happy to complete it.
Great, thank you.
Mike, it was a pleasure to be in the presence of a Stanley Cup winner, but if you were a Leaf, it would have been a lot better.
You know what, Fraser, I'm actually cheering for the Leafs to win. I never thought I would say that, but they're good, good young
I can't
team.
do it.
I hope they win next few years.
I'm
They are
looking at.
Canadian.
I'm
Mike,
looking
we're
at
not going to repeat that.
end of life. I mean, I hope they win before I pass on.
Bob, I only mean until next couple of years till we rebuild.
Okay, fair enough. I might accept that, but I'm not cheering with you.
And I should have mentioned Bob as well. Bob King, Bob McCackern. It's nice to see you here this evening, and really, it's nice to see representation from across all of Cape Breton Island. And I think it speaks to the importance and the value of what you folks are embarking on. So I want to thank you as well for presenting too.
Good.
So
Thanks,
with that, we're going to go into our break for the next 15 minutes. And again, thank you very much for your presentation this evening.
See
and
you,
we'll be in
Paula. Take
touch.
care. Rest
Take
you
care.
too.
Care.
Thanks, guys.
I've
Take
left
care.
my email and phone number in the comments section too. Thank you.
Oh, great.
Perfect. So we're going to reconvene at 6:33, 15 minutes. Thank you.
Not taking a break, Fraser? Are you feeling good? You're on mute. Oh, there you are. You were, I heard you were not feeling well. You're on mute.
I had that flu for about 2 weeks. And
Mhm.
then last week I got a cold, which I've never had like in my life. Oh my God. So I think I'm over everything now. So
Well, that's good because there was a terrible cold on the go that just
Yeah.
was like, I didn't get it luckily, but my son's girlfriend who's living in the house, she had it. He didn't get it. And then David got it and he was sick for 3 weeks.
The stream is still open on Facebook, just to let you.
Okay, sorry.
Just in case there's any doctors out there that may be able to help me.
And I don't know if you're on there and can hear me.
I can, but we still have an open stream live to Facebook. Just to let you know. It's open to everyone else.
I just want to say no, that if you see that I'm on, I'm getting booted off all the time and it's freezing up. So
Okay.
if I'm not there, I'm trying to get back on.
Yeah, I've seen it in and out a fair bit, so just keep
Okay.
keep.
Okay, thanks.
Fraser, give me a call tomorrow sometime, would you? Mid-morning?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be anytime after 11, I'd say. Usually we go for a little ski in the morning, so usually back by then. Yeah. How are you, Barb?
Just a reminder, guys, we are still streamed live on Facebook. Even
Still
during
live? Okay. Paul, I called you earlier, but ignore that. I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Okay. It was good to see a good Montreal Canadian on the panel tonight.
He's a phenomenal hockey player.
At least he's got his priorities straight now.
Coming around to our way, I think. So we have everybody back. Steph back. And is Norman on? Yeah. There you are, Norman, right in the middle. Sorry about that. So we're going to reconvene council. Next item up for business is the minutes of our January 10th meeting. They have been circulated to you. Were there any errors or omissions in those minutes?
There was an omission in Public Works under mine. It was in regard to the bridge on the Meadow Road. And it said, it just stopped mid-sentence kind of, but I can send that correction to Steph. It's just minor, very minor. Just
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll note that the change will be forwarded by Councillor Long. Any other errors or omissions before we ask for motion to approve the agendas, or sorry, the minutes as circulated? We're good. Could we have a motion to accept the minutes with the note of change by Councillor Longba? Moved by Jackie. Councillor Organ, thank you. Seconded by Deputy Warden Daphne. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion's carried. The minutes are approved. And I'm going to refer any old business and business arising to CAO Leanne.
Yeah, just a couple of things that I sent out in my CAO report earlier. Just to let everyone know, Warden Morrison brought it forward about the Canada Games bid. CBRM has actually declined putting in the application this year, so that will not be being applied for. Victoria County Transit has started operating down north as of January 13th. And we have also sent notice to administration of the transit that Victoria County will be taking over that administration as of April 1st, 2022. And we have started the process on that. A couple of other things. There was some notes related to rapid tests. And I know that there was at least 2 drive-through services in Bedak and in Ingonish since our last council session. Related to climate change, ACAP has reached out, I think, to some counselors and are looking to present to council in the near future. Our streetlight policy, we met earlier today related to our streetlight policy for first discussions regarding changes to that current policy. Related to Alliant and some issues with landlines. I've reached out to them and they are looking into information related to those after the most recent power outages that had happened. And the 5434 Kempt Head Road name change request has been sent to the Department of Nova Scotia Public Works.
Thank you. Any questions or comments in regards to the old business as presented by CAO? Councillor McNeil.
Just one thing with old business. I got news today that the street light in South Cove was put in, so that's good news. Thank you, Leanne and Steph, for all the work you did with that too.
Thank you.
Those are causes for celebration. Yeah.
Just a point of clarification, if I could, Leanne, I also received the same information that CBRM was not going to submit an application. And then I heard they were. So has that been the most recent update to your knowledge?
So the last information that I had was that they were not. But if you know something sooner than that or after that, I guess maybe we'll have to go back to them to find out. But the last word that I received was that they were not putting in an application.
And I'm basing that on some information from a article in the Cape Breton Post, unless there was something different from that. But anyway, maybe if I guess we should check with Destination Cape Breton, but I'll do that. That's not a problem. And whatever information I receive, I'll be sure to share it with council and you as well. All right. Any other questions or comments in regards to old business? Then we're going to any business arising. We've covered that as well, unless you have something, Leanne. No,
I had
good.
one thing regarding the ACAP. I did get a notice from Lydia saying there was going to be a ACAP Zoom. I couldn't make it to the Zoom. I wondered if it happened.
Actually, that's this Wednesday, and I was supposed to be on that Zoom too, but I just had to decline today because of an appointment I received. So I was talking to Lydia about it. I don't know whether the meeting is still going to go ahead yet. I think it is, but she said to email her some questions if I have any. So.
Okay, Wednesday at what time?
2:30.
2:30. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, councillors. Then we're going to move on to the CAO's report. So again, we'll turn it over to Leanne.
Great, thanks. So just want to give you a little bit of update from the departments that we have. So in tourism, Dan's department, tourism, and Dan gave the trails team a trails update. He's also working on a dedicated section of our website for trails updates. The area report or the area work is being done right now. And so that's good news. We're moving forward with trail development. He has some concerns with thinking that we need to we're closer, as you all know, with Department of Public Works, Nova Scotia Public Works, to do a better job on the roads if we're going to promote winter tourism. So it is something that we all know how important it is. It's important in the summer and it's just as important in the winter. In recreation, Lydia's department. So Lydia has a request in for a quote for accessible chairs for partnering up with Parks Canada again for this. We have the Moby mats and the Moby mats and swim chairs. I think we're looking for putting in an application or getting some quotes on some accessible trail chairs. So that will be another nice compliment for that stuff down there. She's also working with an individual in North of Smoky on a mental health bursary, working with Cabot High. She had hike at Cape Smoky this past weekend. There was 12 that showed up. Unfortunately, there was 25 that had registered, but 12 showed up. She's having another one of these at North Highlands Nordic on February 1st at 7 p.m. Please get in contact with her if you're interested, if anyone's interested in signing up for that. She is setting up a meeting, and apparently that is happening on Wednesday for ACAP with some counselors. She's going to schedule a placemaking meeting to discuss go forward with the group for the Dingwall site that is being worked on. So there'll be some updates on that. Norman and they will be in touch with you related to that. In our Public Works Department. So currently we are without our own water operator. We have done some interviews. We have hired one that is set to start in a couple of weeks. We made another offer today that is someone that is not trained but trainable. Currently, we are working with Inverness County for our operating DRC, working through some kinks related to that. But if there's Greg and Kelly are doing an outstanding job in public works related to keeping the water going. But we were without water operators for one day. Related to the water utility, we have ordered 2 generators for water utilities for when the power goes out. So both of these will be portable. One hopefully will be located north of Smoky and one will be south. And also there's a lot of work going in on the Neils Harbor water treatment plant. It's currently being commissioned, getting it up and running, and is scheduled to be up and running within the next 4 to 6 weeks for the second phase of that. In senior safety, Cassandra is working with a group of seniors in Iona that have started a light watch group. So there'll be some more information coming out on that. It's a light watch that has to do with something with the RCMP. She's getting more involved in resource mapping around community halls, community lunches, and might look to use St. Anne's as a model for seniors lunches and spreading that out around the county. She's also working on a seniors pen pal project, I believe with Cumberland County. And there is some interest on from Cumberland seniors right now to pair up with some pen pals from around this county. So if you know of anyone who is looking for a pen pal or could be looking for a pen pal, please contact Cassandra related to that. And she's working on her final project for the Rick Hansen certification, and we'll be getting up and running on getting the accessibility committee, getting our plan in place by April 1st. In our finance department, we're working on storm damage and coming up with information to put in a claim with the province. As you all know, there was significant storm damage in the area, so we're looking to see about having some help from the province related to that. In economic development, in the economic development department from Erica. So Erica says that in the Ingonish housing survey, there's been about a 50% response rate so far. She's had some emails from self-employed sole proprietors in Ingonish who felt it didn't apply to them, but she's following up with those because anything is possible for future growth and expansion. The economic development team also met with Upland, the group who is doing our planning strategy. She met with them last week and she emphasized the importance of providing further information sessions and workshops. We are having one coming up, I believe it's this week. Need to be flexible enough to prepare for the unknown. For example, something like tree walks, which we are expecting is something that is not normal, but we need to know how to assess it and how to plan for that. So Upland should be looking at putting some planning strategies in place for things like that, or I guess we should be putting something in place for that with their help. And she's working with Dan and other partners to get the momentum going back on the mountain bike strategy. So we're reaching out to interested parties and seeing if we can get something going related to that again. So a couple of other things, wanting everyone to know that we now have a new, we've done our evaluation and we have new legal representation. So Wickwire Home, who represents several municipalities around the province, will be coming to council in the near future also to introduce themselves. We've had several dealings with a couple of the key lawyers there, and they have a wealth of knowledge on several different topics, so they will be coming forward. We had some discussion in the last little bit related to the accessibility committee. I think we are going to need a motion or a call for council members for being part of the accessibility committee. I believe we need one council member to put their name forward for that. And then also we are looking to do take our police advisory committee to a bit of a different route, since we're having a problem getting provincial representation. Even though we have a resident who wants to be part of it, we have to wait for the province to let us have our board. We're going to do it a different way and have a community consultative group. We've been in touch with District Commander Josh Weiss related to this. He thinks it's a great idea, but we're wondering if there's some councillors who would like to be part of that also. Hopefully we had one north of Smoky and one south of Smoky. So that's two different committees that we'll be looking for someone on. Also, yeah, go ahead.
While we're there, can we just perhaps deal with that right now?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Sure, if that's okay with you. So
Yep.
I know when
I
we
had
talked about
indicated earlier that I'd be interested in the
Yep.
accessibility committee.
accessibility, I did receive your email. Was there anybody else? I just want to make sure. Was there anybody else that was interested in sitting on that accessibility committee? We will probably be partnering up with the town of Port Hawkesbury. So if there's anybody else that's interested besides Councillor Patterson, we just need one. So we just need a motion to appoint Councillor Patterson on that committee, the accessibility, Victoria County Accessibility Committee.
So move that Councillor Patterson be appointed to that committee.
Thank you. Deputy Warden, do we have a seconder, please?
Second.
Second by Councillor Long. All in favor? Contrary minded, motion's carried. Thank you for stepping up for that. Fraser.
Thank you for your support.
And secondly, and just again, a point of clarification, we talked about the police advisory board. I think Councillor Organ, you had expressed an interest in sitting on it at the time. And I thought there was one other councillor, somebody from South that would sit on that.
It might have been me.
Councillor McLeod, didn't
Okay,
you indicate
okay.
that you would, or was it Barb? I thought.
Yeah,
on
I did, but we need a south or north.
Yeah,
So
well, if Perla wants to do it, I'm fine with that because I'm on a lot of committees already.
Okay,
Board.
and we just couldn't find in the minutes who the second person was. So Councillor McLeod, did you want to let your name stand for that as well?
Yes,
Okay, so can we have a motion to appoint councillors Oregon and McLeod to the Police Advisory Committee for Victoria County?
The
I'll
police
make that a
community-
motion.
To the police community consultative group at this point.
Sorry, the Police Community Consultative Group, the PCCG.
I'll make that a
So
motion.
It was moved by Councillor McNeil and I think seconded by Councillor McDonald. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded. So, and Leanne, as far as the Police
Advisory committee.
Advisory Committee, we're not
We're
going to proceed.
We're still plugging away at it, but we're not going to wait any longer. So this
Yeah.
is going to do the same thing and maybe something even better.
Perfect. So that will be a committee of council. So either Councillor Oregon or Councillor McLeod will be the lead on that, or is the RCMP going to take the lead on?
We're not sure yet. I think it
Okay.
will develop as we go along.
Okay, and we have people that have expressed an interest in sitting on that committee as well, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Warden, just while we're on the topic of the RCMP, Leanne, you haven't had any more information or update about the pay raise, how it might affect us. I haven't heard anything either, but there's FCM meetings at the end of February into the first week of March. So I'm sure it'll be a topic there because I think they're negotiating with the federal government.
Yeah, we always receive a letter that says what our new contribution is to be.
Have we received it yet?
No.
No.
Thank you, and I'm sorry, we'll go back to the CAO's report. Sorry
Great.
for that brief interruption.
No, that's okay. That's good. I also am looking for another member, ideally, or well, it should be a North Smoky Workplace Wellness Committee member. So we don't need a motion for this, but we are looking for a committee member. So this is an internal one. I believe Perla's on that board to discuss municipal admin workplace wellness. I know you're all
So-
chomping at the bit here.
Deputy Warden put his hand up so that you have your volunteer.
Great, thank you, Larry. I'll pass that on. One other thing, a couple other things. We met with Jim McDougall. We're doing a regional EMO exercise planning, something that we're looking to do island-wide. We've had 2 to 3 to 4 planning sessions so far. We're planning on doing this, I believe it's May, and looking at big emergency situations, and we're trying to come up with one. And I keep saying we've had some really big emergency situations. We don't really need to look that far, but I believe that so we're going to take some of the things that we've already experienced, debrief them, put them forward also, but then maybe something with the causeway closed or something that would affect some other areas as well. So I'll keep you up to date on how that goes. Last note in my report here is that the tax exemption bylaw was in the paper, or the repeal of the tax exemption for property owners was the tax exemption for charitable organizations repeal was in the paper. We had a meeting on this, a public hearing earlier today. Just want to let every organization know that all organizations that are looking to have their tax exemption that was just given to them in the past, on a go-forward basis, they're going to need to complete a municipal grant application. We are sending a letter out with the application to all that have received it in the past, but on a go-forward basis, they are going to have to be consistent and put in their application. So it doesn't matter if you've received it in the past, you're not exempt any longer unless you fill out the application and send it in. So I just wanted to put that information out there.
And
Sorry, you're muted, Paul.
And just to comment there, you don't have to fill out a grant, but you have to fill out that portion of the application.
Right, so it's the same application. We're making it a one-stop shop, one form. If anybody's looking for any type of funding, it's one form that you fill out that has different tick boxes on it for the type of funding or relief that you're looking for. And it is on our website. There is a PDF fillable version on our website. There's sorry, not PDF. There's a fillable version on our website and a PDF that can be printed and sent in to us.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the CAO in regards to her report this evening?
Just one thing, Mr. Warden.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question about in regards to the water operator. Like we can't seem to keep a water operator in the county. And
Yep.
is it a wage issue or what that we have to look at?
It's
That
happening
because
all across the province.
Is it because it's one of
yeah.
the most important, like if something goes
Yeah.
wrong with our water or the regulatory issues,
Yeah.
the county could be in big trouble. So
Yep, it's discussed all across the province, that building inspectors, all of these municipal vital services are things that are in desperate need. So it's not new to here. It's happening everywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah. I did have a letter. I'll get to it in the.
Okay, we'll hold that for correspondence. Okay. All right, we're going to move on next to any new business, or have we covered that?
I think we covered it.
We covered it. There's nothing additional that you have. Okay. We already had a recess. Taxation update, please.
Yeah, okay. So as of today, we have 1.136 million outstanding compared to 1.539 this time last year. So a total of 403,000 to the good this year. Out of that number, for current, we have 689,000 compared to 786 this time last year. So to the good again by about 97,000. And arrears is 306,000 compared to 446 last year. No, sorry. Arrears is 306,000 better with 446 this year outstanding compared to 753 last year. So the girls are working really hard in the tax department. Since our last tax update, we've collected about $142,000. We've sent out reminder letters. Going to be sending out a new batch next week. Our next tax sale is set for March 22nd. Our initial list has 37 properties on it that were issued on January 14th. We are looking at different ways to hold this tax sale, and it will be announced in the coming days if we're going to be doing this by tender again or a public auction. So it will depend on COVID numbers and where we're at. So that's what I have for a tax update. Really good information, really good news.
Good, thank you. We appreciate good news as well.
Norman has his hand.
Councillor McDonald, a question?
I'm just wondering, Leanne, if you elaborate on the tender process. Does that seem to work fairly good, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, so the girls again downstairs have been overseeing that, and Alex, and it seems like we're getting maybe more people putting their tenders forward. There seems to be people who may not be able to show up in person, but they are able to send their tender forward. So we're selling off some properties that we never had the ability or may not have sold in the past. So yeah, it's turning out really well, working well. Paul has a question too, I think.
Yeah, it's basically a tax assessment issue. The assessments went up quite a bit this year as many councillors been getting any phone calls on the assessment, and have you heard any reasons? Well, I guess it's the property values, what the properties are selling for in the areas. It's basically accounting for it. But have you heard anything, Leanne?
There was some questions that were asked, and it said that the value is based on the market value of the value. So not really, but the average seems to be between 6 and 13% increase overall. Yeah, it's high. This isn't even the year, I don't think, where, because it's behind a year, like it's based on the prior year. So I think next year there's going to be probably even a higher increase.
Yeah, Warden, I heard the figure of 5% tossed around, Ian, which, and I think the original intent of the cap was that it was tied to inflation. Well, guess what? Inflation's about 5%. The message I got though from people, don't automatically use this to raise taxes. You know, maintain the same rate, and if the assessments have gone up, as you say, over double digits in some places, that people don't want to see that attached to the tax bill. But I guess the discussion we'll have to have, our costs are going up too. That they're predicting $2 a liter for gasoline within the next short period. That's unheard of. So our fleet of vehicles are going to cost us a lot more. I just got my house insurance and my car insurance this week, and they both went up dramatically. So the whole system now is geared to inflation going up and up and up. We're gonna have, as a county, I thinking, well, I don't think I know, we're gonna have increased costs. So, but people are kind of watching to see where we go with it. And we just don't automatically, take the assessment, multiply it by the rate, and that's your tax bill. We have to either justify it, or through the budget process, identify areas where there will be increases.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions or comments? Okay, not to mention our power bills could potentially go up, but we'll save that one. There was, the next item was other.
I think that's been covered because the other was the residential assessment increases.
Okay, thank you very much. Department of Public Works, we'll start with District Number 8. Any up in District Number 8 Public Works concerns?
Warden, thank you for that. You should have saved me for the last, but I just have a few. One is regarding, I'll reach out to, I believe it's Parks Canada, the signage board that's placed in Cape North. That has been blank now for 2 weeks. It's a solar board, and I'm not sure if they're even aware that the board is not functioning properly. I'm not sure who the new super is. It's Kelly. I just don't have her information. If we could reach out to them in regard to that. If the board is not workable, it's honestly no sense even having it there, but if they could have a look at that, it'd be greatly appreciated. That's for
Probably because the deputy warden retired. That's one of the
that's what it is,
repercussions, I think.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
But,
Nope, we'll put that on the list.
It would be good because the last storm there, it was black, right? And there's people going through, going to the base of the mountain and what have you. So just so we could have that looked at. I've been also receiving a lot of calls. There's a good sizable pothole at the bottom of the hill in Cape North, just past the Cape North Fire Department. I've had 3 people who stated that they've had bent rims in regard to it, and they're looking for a claims paper from Public Works. And I said that I would bring it up this evening at council, and hopefully they'll fill the hole, because people in the past have used that form and it just doesn't seem to get them anywhere. So if we could put that on the list for Mr. McDonald to have a look at. And another issue too was brought up once again, residents, all respect to Meat Cove, although they're in Inverness County, they do reach out to me in regard to the roads, sanding up the roads. And their question is to me is, why is it that they have to always call and request a sand truck? I mean, I've seen the pictures on social media, they've emailed to me, and they're honestly like skating rinks coming out of there. I know it's due to temperature and the 24-hour the criteria that Public Works uses for sanding of secondary roads, because they're considered a secondary road, but there's people in there that need appointments, medical, like things, what have you, right? So I guess my question is, why is it that they have to call repeatedly the TIR number to get their road sanded? If we could just look into that a little bit further, right?
We can do that.
And another one, I've had quite a few phone calls in regards to the paving project that's going to be taking place in Dingwall. It was on the 5-year provincial plan. People are very happy and pleased to hear that. There's some secondary roads that are off the Dingwall Road, because it shouldn't be labeled as Dingwall Road per se, as from the Cape North intersection down to the Markland, there's secondary roads off of Dingwall Road. And those people feel that they are being left out, and they would like to have a little bit more clarification as to why maybe their roads aren't being repaired if the main road is being repaired there. And secondary to that, the project that was from Effie's Brook up to Cape North, which was, I believe, on the 5-year plan as part of the Cabot Trail facade. I've been in talks with MLA Bain, had good discussion with regard to that, and he said that is a separate pot that generally comes from federal and provincial funding. And we discussed and thought it would be maybe a good, if we could send a letter to Minister Maslin, Minister of Public Works, in regard to see if there's any shared funding initiative that will be taking place between the federal and provincial government. We could look into that a little further. I'd like to make that a motion, if I could, Warden, please.
Yes, sir, you can. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Second.
Second by Deputy Warden. All in favor? Contrary minded, motion is carried.
Good, sir. That's it for up in District 8 this evening.
Thank you. And Councillor Organ, your hand went up after the Deputy Warden spoke, so
You can't get ahead of them.
you can't get. So, now's your chance, so with any public works concerns. So.
It's been pretty quiet in District 7, although I did get a call concerning paving for Ocean View Drive, and I just said we're not on the list, and people say we should be, but anyways, I know we're not on the list. But other than that, the water still at the bottom of Ocean View Drive is still a major problem with the freezing. Leanne, you said that you're going to get our water to look at it, but it might be Public Works, to fill it in. I've mentioned it to them, but nothing's been done. And that's it.
Thank you, Councillor. We're going to go to District number 6, Deputy Warden.
Yes, thank you, Warden. Nothing as any individual things, but I'd like to add on to Councillor McDonald's motion to a letter to Minister Maslin that yes, let's discuss the Cabot Trail as a crucial link and one of our tourism, probably the biggest thing we have going for us here in Northern Cape Breton or in Victoria County and Inverness County. But I think it's time that we meet with the minister to discuss the paving of Smoky into Ingonish Park needs to be done. The Effie's Brook to Big Interval needs to be done, and I believe the Middle River has not been completed also. There's at least 3 sections there that are critical, and I think we need to put some pressure on to make sure they're looked after. I also want to talk to her about the ferry. I don't know, we haven't any response in regards to the business plan that was put forward where the ferry was, or the bridge was actually cheaper than the ferry over 75 years. But I'd like to discuss those with her, and maybe we can put out an invitation to the minister and our the Honorable Keith Bain to see if we can meet and discuss in person some of these issues that we're facing. It's crucial to our tourism ministry, and we need to get something done about it. And I'd like to make that a motion based added on to Norman's if possible.
Indeed, can do that. So do we have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Oregon. Got you this time, Councillor Oregon. And Norman, you're Councillor McDonald, you're okay with adding that to your correspondence?
Most
He
definitely,
is,
yes.
no problem. Thank you.
And that's it for
Anything
District
else? That's it?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Ward. Councillor Long, anything for Public Works tonight? You're.
Isn't it Fraser's turn?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks,
I jumped the queue.
Thanks, Barb. Just following what the Deputy Warden was speaking about and the CAO's report about tourism and Cabot Trail, I think we have to, with the Department of Public Works, emphasize to them that the roads are a crucial piece of infrastructure for our tourism and for our economic development. Two little things on Bullardry that one was last summer, the farmers market. People would come from Sydney and Glace Bay and all over. It was very successful, but many of them complained about the condition of the road. And whether that deterred them from coming back or not, I don't know, but it certainly didn't help. I got an email this week from a lady who has an Airbnb just up the road. And I just read two sentences of it. They promote here as a destination because, as far as I'm concerned, it's the most beautiful place in the world. And being from Bermuda, that's where she's from. That's a big compliment. My own one and only issue is the condition of the road. So, we have to get the point across that the condition of our roads is harming our tourism industry and our economic development. People are just not willing to put up. I mean, we have to drive on them. We have no choice for the most part. But a tourist or a visitor, I'm not gonna drive on that, So, I guess, like I said, if we could try to get it, and I agree with Deputy Warden Daphne that we should meet with the Minister of Public Works and possibly the Minister of Economic Development, because I think there's a very good connection there that we can make. The case for improving our roads. Final thing, did I hear or did I dream this, that they were putting $500 million more into the road repair for next summer. Maybe I dreamt it, did I? I thought I heard that somewhere. Anyway, thank you.
But we hope you did hear it and didn't dream it. So, I'm sorry. Now we'll go to district number 4. Councillor Long, but she's ready to go.
Thank you, Warden. I'd just like to make a comment on what Norman said about Meat Cove, even though they're not in Victoria County. Calling that a secondary road is a joke because it is the only road. It's the main road. And I guess all of us have driven down it. So you would never get out of there on an icy road. Never, not with even with studs. And there's elderly that live down there. If anything ever happened, I don't know what they would do. They'd have to send a helicopter in or something, I guess, because it's that's critical for those people. But anyway, on to my own district. I did send these into Steve earlier. I just wanted updates on one of the things was those footbridges that were put in. Once the drivable bridges are replaced, they can take the footbridges away. And we've asked, SABDA has asked that they be put on the trails. There's walking trails, both in Tarbert Vale is a foot trail, and then also at the North River Falls, which is in the park. So that's a different jurisdiction, whatever that word is, jurisdiction. But they're working on that, reusing those bridges, which I think is awesome. That Steve's in favor of that, and so is the gentleman in regard to the park in North River. So they're working on that, and I just wanted an update from Steve what's happening. Also on the Meadow Road, it's not a bridge, but a box culvert. And he said that they would put a railing on it. So I want to know if it happened. Also the Skirdu sign, I had asked a while back if that would be replaced. The large hole in the highway in South Haven, apparently there was many cars damaged on that. And I was hoping to get an update on that. I know they did at least put signage there to warn people of it. Also there was a yield sign where the Stewart Road meets the New Hamilton Road that where people were asking for, and I want to know about that. And the correct placement of the Gaelic College signs. They were 2 signs made and they were just put in the wrong location, so the arrows are not pointing in the right direction. So I did send all of those just for updates with Steve, and also the condition of all of the back roads with ice that are so icy after the rain. But I did get a message back from them that they were working really hard trying to break up some of the ice and sanding, but they had to use chains on the trucks today because it was so bad on those roads. And that's it for District 4.
Thank you very much. District 2, Councillor MacLeod.
Just I have one thing. It's about it the same day as the councillors about the icy roads today. I received an email back saying they're putting the trucks in the road today. It's a slow going because, of course, for the situation of the icy roads. Just want to put in the minutes for Old Margaret Road, West Side, Big Beck, Zion Road, and the Midi River roads there reported for sand and salt. Thank you.
Thank you. District number 1, any public works concerns by chance?
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Yeah, the same as the other councillors with the ice on the gravel roads. I had to make a few phone calls yesterday, but I was assured the grader was out working on them, and I guess it was. Also, there's concerns the last 2 storms, the main plow for 223 has broken down. So there's only been about 4 major storms. I'm wondering what's going on with the plows, and shouldn't have they been ready for the winter season prior to it. I want to thank all the crews that worked on the washout to fix the washout at the causeway, the old causeway in Iona. That's what we call it anyway. And I wonder about writing Steve or possibly the minister about a study and inventory on all the culverts in Victoria County. They have to be looked at again. They're too small for the weather issues that we've been having lately, and it's causing flooding and damage throughout. So if that could be done, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And District 3, I don't have any specific issues with Public Works, although I will say that I received more calls this winter than I have in the last number of winters, just in the overall snow removal, particularly on the Transcanadian around the deck. And I guess I've also heard comments that some of the gear is either broken down or it's been sent over to Inverness County. So I think if we would ask I just heard that yesterday. So if we could just ask for Steve an update on the inventory of equipment that's currently in Victoria County, both north and south, so we get a sense of, do we have enough equipment to carry out the necessary snow removal. So with that, that ends our Public Works. We're going to go to public or district concerns. So district number 1, Councillor McNeil, any district concerns, please?
Yes, thank you again, Warden. I was at a Beatty-Baugh meeting last Friday, and discussions with Mayor Beaton and Warden Mumbriket were brought up about the treaty rights and learning more about Aboriginal relations. And I indicated to them Victoria County was in contact with Robert Bernard about having sessions on this topic. I know since then Mr. Bernard had health issues. I'm just wondering, is this still in the works, Leanne?
So yeah, the last that I heard, he was having some health issues.
Yeah.
We can reach out though. That's a good point. No, we haven't reached out since. We will.
I know they were going to reach out for a contact in the Office of Lanou Affairs to conduct treaty education. So maybe contact either one of them, and they have the contact information about it. So also Councillor Parsons and CBRM indicated they hired a person for Aboriginal relations. So and Keith Bain, MLA Keith Bain, got in touch with me. He did make inquiries on the bridge lights, and he was told that they were repaired last summer. I said if they were repaired, they must have lasted from the time the truck left the bridge, because I never seen anything. They're indicated to him that they were looking into sourcing some different lights for it, but this is a year and a half, and the other night it was dark going across the bridge, so it has to be looked at right away.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor.
Maybe they'll get who didn't do the lights the last time.
Yeah,
if they lasted a day.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And district number 2, Councillor McLeod, anything? District concerns?
Just one thing. I just want to send a letter to Breton, the CB. Sorry. The CBC just regarding for the driver. The last update I had was they were waiting for the letter from Child Registry. So I just want to make sure in what if they receive it, or what is the update about that for the drivers for the bus driver for Bedek Academy.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's to the Cape Breton Regional Education Center.
Yeah, Susan Kelly.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. District 4, any district concerns? You're on mute, Barb.
Yeah, I have a book full because it's been like 3 weeks since I saw all you folks, so be patient. The first one is I'd like to congratulate Sally McGinnis from the North Shore here on, she got a Canada-wide Tourism Award for Employee of the Year. And that's quite an honor considering how large our tourism sector is, and it's for all of Canada. So I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter from the county congratulating Sally for that. She is known at the Celtic Lodge as the reservation guru. She's been there for years.
Very good, Barb. Do we have a seconder for that, please? Seconded by Deputy Warden. All in favor? Contrary minded, most deserving for Sally. Thank you.
So the second one I have is Fraser had brought it up earlier about the price raise with the Nova Scotia Power increasing the rates to 10% increase in the next 3 years. But not only are they doing that, but they're trying to get a cut of the greenhouse or the solar energy panel business, and it costs people. I was going to stick to my notes here just so I can keep it straight, but like we all want to have more solar power to cut back on greenhouse emissions, and so to that end, Efficiency Nova Scotia started giving rebates as big as $10,000 when it first came out, and now it's cut back to like $3,000, but it costs a family $29,000 to get this solar energy happening. And with the like $6,000 rebate, I think a few years ago, someone in my district paid $23,000. And because he did it before February 1st, he is okay for 25 years. But anybody that gets it after February 1st is going to have to pay big time. And it's going to take them, instead of 10 years, like 30 years to pay it off. So I think it's that we have to write a letter to the Premier and ask that they not do this, because it's going to deter. There was one company I was reading in the news that they were supplying the panels and they had orders for 18, and after this news release came out, there was 9 customers canceled. So it's going to put those people out of business, and it's going to prevent people from moving to Nova Scotia. It's just a big black mark on Nova Scotia all around, I think, by doing this. And we're supposed to be, you know, trying to do things that are good for the environment. And this is just like a really big step backward. So I would like to make a motion that we write a letter to the Premier about it, and also to the URB, is it?
UARB, yep.
The UARB and the Minister of Natural Resources, expressing that constituents' concerns, as this decision is going to have a really negative impact on the ratepayers and the solar industry. That's so I can make that motion.
Just before we make the motion, that the other two parties, the NDP and the Liberals, have also come out and been opposed to the increases as well. I'm wondering if would you like to include the leaders of both those parties as
I'd include everybody.
Yeah,
because
I think copy them on it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is. So we have a seconder for that, please. Seconded by Councillor McLeod. All in favor? Contrary minded, motion's carried. Thank you, Barb. Thanks for bringing that up.
My next one is we had that street light policy earlier, and I would like to have a list of all the lights with civic addresses in my district, so I can have a look and see which ones maybe aren't needed. And then I'd like to give an update on the bridges. It's been 70 days now for the people in Tarbert Vale that still don't have a bridge, but I did get an update today that we're building cement embutment to put the bridge on, and that they were told the latest thing was that it would be by Tuesday that they would actually finally get to drive across the bridge. But they said life hasn't really changed a whole lot for them, even with all this isolation. He said it hasn't really changed a whole lot of things for them, so that's good. And I already said about the footbridges, so I won't talk about that. Okay, then the other thing was I had a number of calls on is in regard to the new Victoria County multi-purpose building, and the Cape Breton Partnership had helped the process, not us, but the process, by hiring Vibe and to facilitate this public meeting, which was on Zoom. One of them was Zoom, one was in person. And they put together a report, and then in that report, they said that the next steps would be another public meeting where at that time they would pick committees. So I was wondering if there's a date set for that public meeting.
I don't know, we'll have to check with John Trickett, and it's a Victoria Highlands Civic Center owns the document, and they led the community conversation. So I will ask Leanne to contact John Trickett and see what the status of the second meeting could be.
Well, I heard there was a committee formed. So I wondered how that committee was formed, like, because it was supposed to be public. A public meeting to pick committees, but I heard there was a committee. I mean, I'm on the subcommittee. I was on the subcommittee for that through council, and I just heard recently that there has been a committee formed. So I wondered who was on that committee.
I can comment on that.
Yeah,
I can comment on that.
Okay.
And again, it's a committee of the Rink Committee, and they asked 5 people to sit on that committee. Dave Parkinson, Chief Norman Bernard, myself, Sandy Campbell, and John Trickett. So there are 5.
Okay, so I just wondered, because it's a Victoria County community building, if there should be representation from like everyone in each district.
It's not a Victoria County multi-purpose building.
It's not? It's a
No.
Victoria County Civic Center, is that what it's called, or?
We do not own this building, and we're not planning on owning this building. This is not our building.
But what is the name of the building as it exists? Isn't it called Victoria County?
Victoria
Civic Center?
County Highland Civic Center.
Highland Civic Center, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, Barb, that the committee was just people were just approached to sit on it in the last week or so. So leave it with me. I'll provide an update for you next couple days.
Okay, awesome, because I've had a lot of calls, and there are people in my district that are very interested in sitting on committees that have a lot to offer to.
100%.
Can I comment?
Yeah, sure.
That for the people that probably want to be involved in the ring, they need to contact the board, and it's John Trickett. The ring not yet is putting in place the committees for help the ring right now. So right now they sit down, Chief Warren, Dave Parkinson, the board asked to them to sit down in that subcommittee just to make some planning, but that is not for the board. It's from the board, from the ring, if I can speak for that. Yeah. So if the people want to talk, if they want to be involved, they have to contact the ring. They have to call John Trickett because he is the chair of the board. Yeah.
Good point.
Okay, and okay, last time I was, we were talking about global warming and what things that could be done, and I discovered a awesome product, and I've ordered it for myself, and it is washing your clothes. It's strips, so it would eliminate. It has eliminated 6 million plastic. Those plastic jugs of soap have been eliminated since they started doing this, and they're just little strips that are very small. They come in like a small cardboard package, and I guess they work really well, so I've ordered them myself, and it's through it's called True Earth are the people that are making them. But it sounds like an amazing way for us as individuals to, it's also will cut back on gas emissions, because transporting all those huge jugs of soap around costs a lot of money, and this, because they're heavy, and this will cut back on that too. So I thought that was pretty good. I think that's it for me.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And, all right. Appreciate your concerns this evening. We're going to district number 5.
Thank you, Warden. The concern I had came under Public Works with the road and so on. I'd like to thank Barb though for a very informative thing, and especially with Nova Scotia Power. That's exactly right on. And the strips too. That's interesting. Thanks, Barb.
All right. We're going to go to district number 6, please.
Nothing tonight, Warden. Just one question for Leanne. Leanne, do you know, or Steph, would you know if the letters were sent out to the Minister of Environment in regards to the Skidoo crossings in the national park? I just wonder if that's been sent out or not.
Yes,
Perfect.
they have been. Yep.
Perfect.
We'll
No,
get-
we're all good
all
with District 6.
District 7, Councillor Horgan, are you with us?
You kind of shocked me there because I
There
got
you are.
booted off and I'm back on again.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
All quiet here. No concerns this time. Look out next time.
Thanks for the heads up. District 8, anything up there, please?
Oh, yes, thank you, Warden. Just one thing was in regard to the post office in St. Margaret's Village. That was brought up at a previous council. I have been in contact with Canada Post and have had discussions in regard to that. But the concern is that most of the people in the village are yet to know or receive any verbal or written confirmation that the existing postmaster will be retiring and the location of the new post office. And they've narrowed it down to 2 locations, and they're working with the postmaster who will be taking over. And a decision will be made in regard to that within the next week, because the postmaster at present is retiring, I believe, February 12th, and that location will no longer be accessible as a post office. So to my understanding, speaking with Canada Post, is that they will be putting in super boxes for a period of 2 to 3 weeks while the transition moves over to the new location. So I just wanted to bring an update to any folks that are watching online this evening with regard to that. And that's it for up here in District 8, sir.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Appreciate it. Just in District 3, just a couple things. One, just housekeeping. We're trying to update the profiles of councillors on their website. You were sent a short note with information on earlier this week. I understand if you want to limit your information or if you want to add information, it's up to you, but it provides the personal side of councillors along with the municipal side. So if I would ask your cooperation on that and send it in, we'd like to get that site updated with current information. The other issue I just wanted to bring up tonight, we had the District Health Authority in Council in October. We followed up with a letter with 4 different requests for information, including recruitment of physicians, et cetera, et cetera. Haven't heard anything back from them, so I think it would be pertinent that we send them a letter. I understand they're busy with COVID, but having said that, the information we requested wasn't that detailed. So just like to send a reminder to them to provide the information that we requested, both the sites north and south. So with that, that's my district concerns. And again, as we mentioned this morning, we want best wishes to Jessie Wong for playing with the Chinese women's hockey team in the Olympics, and what a great achievement for her to leave Victoria County and end up playing for China in the Olympics. So with that, I'm sorry, go ahead. You have one
sorry,
more.
I had one more thing in my notes here I found. It's
Sure.
about the cell service problem in the area. And apparently some of the people, when they were going around like earlier to set up for broadband, like the preliminary steps, then the neighbors were talking to the people and they said once the cable or the broadband is like laid through, that then there's these boxes that were going to be set every so often. And through these boxes, they said people will be able to get cell service. But this is like, I just heard this from constituents. So I wondered if it was possible to have Develop Nova Scotia come in again and give us an update and tell us if there's, you know, if that's true, or, you know, if it's just
So
give us an
we've
update.
So we've asked them to come forward and give an update. They are planning on doing an island-wide update. So they're not going to come to each individual district, but I think, I know they were talking about these cell boxes, but they weren't talking about them on those poles. And what they have come back with in their latest piece of information that we've reached out and asked them about cell service issues, Develop Nova Scotia's mandate is not cell service, it is broadband. And so cell service was an issue that they heard that came up, but they're reiterating that it is not their, that is not their mandate. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So that's not a solution. We still need to find a solution for the cell issues. It's a very expensive solution though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very
We're worth
much. Sorry, that's it, no
We're-
more? Yeah,
We're worth it.
absolutely. And that's it for district concerns? Yep. All right, committee reports.
Norman has his hand up.
I'm sorry, Norman. Thank you, Barb. Norman, do you have a question or comment?
No, I'm sorry for that, Warden. I was just wondering to CAO if we haven't seemed to have had a public works meeting in quite some time. And just to reiterate what Councillor McNeil had said about the utility, I think it's important maybe that we should meet and just bring council up to speed on with the water utilities, and that if that's possible, if we could set a date up in the near future, whether it be, well, it would be a Zoom. It's just
Yep, we will be doing that in the near future. Yep. We're also going to set up one related to the district boundaries and have a session related to that. So maybe we could do both of those, maybe some morning. We'll set that up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Anybody else have any questions or comments? We're going to go to committee reports.
Yeah, so we have one committee report or one item that came from a committee, came from the Planning Advisory Committee. It was related to rezoning within the village of Bedeque. There was a Planning Advisory Committee meeting that was held related to an amendment on the village property. There was a report that came forward, and district planning, it has requested that this report go forward for first reading so that we could bring this forward for second reading and for a public hearing.
So with that, in order to get to a second reading, we need to approve that we're going to have a first reading. So it just requires a motion saying that we have passed the first reading of the amendment.
Of the zoning. Yep.
Do we have a
So moved. That
move
we
by?
consider this the first reading. Is that what we want, Leanne? We
Yes.
consider this the first reading? Okay.
Yep.
Second.
Do we have a seconded by Councillor Longo? All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Anything else?
Just one other committee. There's a SEPI steering committee meeting on the February 16th. So if anyone wants to attend, it'll be by Zoom. I could give your information and you could come into the meeting. They were wondering if Warden, will you be available on the 16th?
Should be.
Okay.
It's my
that's good.
birthday. It's my birthday.
Oh, well, they'll have a cake for you for sure. So okay.
No problem. Yeah, no, I did receive notice of it. So if I'm available, I certainly would be more than happy to attend. Absolutely.
You were almost a Valentine.
Almost.
Just a comment, as most of you are aware, I wasn't, you couldn't see my face in the last public meetings or council meetings or so on, which might have been a good thing. But anyway, I'd like to thank Stephanie and Dan Coffin. Got me back online, and Dan is just a wizard. He come in, oh, that's it. It wasn't 2 minutes, and he had me back up and running. So thank you, Dan. Thank you, Steph.
They're good to have around.
Thank you. It's good to have you, Fraser.
Warren, just one thing about the amendment is not rezoning, it's just adding. Just to put it in right word in the minutes.
Okay.
It's an adding. Oh, yeah.
It's adding to the zone. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's an amendment to the current zoning. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Good point. Thank you, Councillor. That's correct. Any correspondence tonight, Leanne?
Yeah, so I mentioned this earlier that I had one request. There is a Fishing Gear Coalition of Atlantic Canada who are looking to do a project. They have CBRM as the main supporter of this. They've asked for other municipalities to be part of it. What they're trying to do is trying to find end of life for fishing gear. So once fishing gear has reached its end of life, to be able to recycle it and to do something with it. It's to support the management of this end of life fishing gear, and it's a pilot project that they're working on across Atlantic Canada for wire lobster traps. They are looking to hopefully support 3,434 fish harvesters in Nova Scotia to responsibly dispose of their end-of-life wire lobster traps, helping municipalities with the necessary resources to manage all collection and recycling needs. What they are requesting is an ask from Victoria County of $3,500 for putting forward for this project. It's a pilot project. So I think it's a worthwhile cause. I think fishing is the second highest entrepreneurship within Victoria County. And I think it's something that we should support.
Yeah, so we certainly would, I would agree with you on that. And do we have a motion to allocate $3,500 to that initiative? Moved by the Deputy Warden, seconded by Councillor McNeil and Jackie's cat. So, any other correspondence, Leanne?
Nope, that's all. That's currently it, and everything else that we would have received, we would have sent on to you.
Is there any questions or comments from anybody that may have joined us?
I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, and Barb, you'll be glad to know that our next council meeting is on February 14th, Valentine's Day. And I believe it is an afternoon session to
2 p.m.
2 p.m. At the wishes of the Deputy Warden. So that leaves.
Just a final note, Warden, I believe we're going to be on Information Morning tomorrow morning. I heard that, I believe this morning Steve announced it. So I assume the reporter is somewhere Ron.
Could be, I have no idea.
No, he mentioned it this morning, that's all I heard.
Okay. Any other, and there's nobody in the queue that has any questions. We're good.
No, there's not.
Okay, we want to thank our technical help that worked behind the scenes tonight for another virtual council meeting, and hopefully on the 14th things will be changed and we'll be able to meet in person in the afternoon.
We are monitoring, and we will keep you up to date on the safest way to meet.
Okay, sounds good. We just want to follow all the proper public health guidelines.
Just wondering,
Yes.
Warden, should we wear red that day or? Just
Maybe
Probably
we should.
fitting.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's you're very
Oh,
romantic.
Paul will like that.
Yeah, for a number of reasons, I'm sure. All right, we'll see you on the 14th, and remember to get your bios in to Stephanie so she can update our counselor's page on the website. So, all right, good evening all.
Right on.
See you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.